Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. This is your host, PutinBot. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be doing I guess you could call this an unorthodox control guide using poisons or other debuffs, not only as a means of dealing damage, but as a way of controlling the enemy waves in Doom Tower and dungeons. And it's just really neat the way that this works. And without further ado, I'm gonna hop into it. I think showing y'all is going to do much better than just trying to explain it. So I'm gonna hop here to my index. Y'all are gonna see my favorite legendary champion on my account, Kantra the Cyclone. So we're gonna start off with her, and she's gonna be the key to this guide. If you don't have a seer, that's not a problem. What I'm going to show you, it's not going to be a speed run. Like, you're not going to be able to just blow up waves and clear content in a minute and a half or 2 minutes. But what I will be able to do, though, is show you how you'll be able to clear content safely, effectively, and especially those pesky dungeons of 21 through 25 where the mobs have a crap ton of health. I'm going to show you how you'll be able to have a relatively quick and successful run. So, that's all introduction. That's all free. Let's get into it. First thing we're going to do, who is Contra? Contra is a force affinity, defensive based barbarian. And because she's defensive based, the stat that she uses to deal damage is also what keeps her alive. For the premise of this guide, Contra's not going to be doing any damage at all. That's going to be coming through her teammates. Let me show you how this is going to work. First, we're going to take a look at her skills. Her aura, really nice, really solid, increases ally accuracy in all battles by 60. Her A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 60% chance, when booked, of stealing an enemy buff with each hit. That's really, really nice. Her A2, Chaos Tempest, is on a 3-turn cooldown when booked, and it has a 3-hitter, and each hit has a 75% chance, when booked, of landing one of these following debuffs. Block buffs, decrease attack, decrease speed, weaken, decrease accuracy, and heal reduction. Heal reduction is going to be really important for this comp I'm about to show you. Now, another really neat thing about Contra is that she only has 2 active skills. So that means if you want to, you can run your Contra in a reflex set. I'm running her mostly in speed. I do not have a good defense-based chest piece for her. As soon as I get one, though, I will be putting her in the 3 speed sets. Now, her passive. Her passive is the key to everything I'm about to show you. No escape. A couple of things about this no escape passive. One, as you can see, it has no cooldown whatsoever. It's also not a skill, so that means it's always working whenever comes to be her turn. So I'll just read this to you, and I'm going to show you how this works. No escape decreases each enemy's accuracy by 10 for each debuff they're under. That's really solid for Doom Tower. This champion will receive 4% less damage for each debuff on the attacker. Heals this champion by 1,250 hit points each time a debuff expires on an enemy. Has a 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. This champion can place debuffs on weak hits. So what that means is, with her A2, even if she's going against a Spirit Affinity team, she can still place her debuffs. Now here's the next part of this equation. The next part of this is going to be an epic. The epic I'm going to be talking to y'all about is right here. This is Venomage. And again, I'll go in, I will show you all the gear, I'll show you the stats, all this stuff. I just want to just show you just the meat and bones, the meat and potatoes about how this works. The only skill that Venomage has that we care about is her A3, Flesh Melter. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 3 turns. Also has a 75% chance of placing 2 5% poisons for 2 turns. So what that means is, when Flesh Melter, when she puts that heal reduction debuff up, she's also going to be placing poisons. Now, one thing you want to point out, this is an attack. So that means you can get weak hits on this. So if you're going, like say in the Dragon 25, she is going to have trouble. She is going to be placing weak hits. You need to be able to compensate for that. But if you're going against magic, if you're going against void, if you're going against spirit, it doesn't matter. You're going to have a good time. Now, her passive, Pain Reeve, enemies under heal reduction debuffs inflict 15% less damage. If you recall, Contra with her A2 is able to place that heal reduction debuff, and she can't place that on weak hits. Venomage places heal reduction with her A3. So what that means is, in addition to Contra taking less damage for every debuff that the enemy is under that's hitting her, which is going to happen quite a bit because she's going to be provoking them, she's going to be taking even less damage because of this passive. Those 2 skills stack. I'm going to hop back over here to Contra real quick. I'm just going to go in. I'm going to show you the stats on Contra. Also, will show you the masteries. Now, one thing you want to kind of keep in mind, like I said, she is defensive based. And I do have her going relatively quickly because for that provoke to land, it's at the beginning of her turn if the enemy is under 5 or more debuffs. So you do want your Kantra the Cyclone moving relatively quickly. My Contra is currently going at 249 speed. My crit rate is very low. Crit damage is ridiculously high. That's not intentional. That's just the way that the stats work. I have just under 49,000 health, and defense is just under 6k. And I've got her in 2 speed sets. As soon as I get a speed chest piece, that's 6-star with the defense primary stat, with the other stats I'm looking for, I will be replacing this chest that she's currently in. Masteries for Contra, I've got her going down to Eagle Eye for the extra 50 accuracy. I used to have her in Fearsome Presence. I have done away with that. I opted for the accuracy instead. And I've also got her going here to Deterrence. This has a chance to counterattack when her teammate gets frozen or stunned. And I've gone to Retribution because I want her counterattacking whenever she can. That way she can still buff that the enemy is under. And I've got Tough Skin, Blast Proof, Shadow Heal. That way if the enemy does get a heal off, Contra gets some healing in addition to her passive, and Delay Death. Now, without further ado, let me show you how this works. This is crazy. You're really gonna like this. Let's just go here to Doom Tower. Actually, let's do this one. This one will be, let's do this stage. So this is Doom Tower Hard. This is floor 64. Now here's the team that I have set up here. I've got Contra in the lead because she's got that accuracy aura. I've got Blind Seer. Blind Seer's only role is to give me shields and to place block debuffs. Just that way the enemy won't be able to control me because I want to control them. I've got Harvest Jack for Fears. Big thing about him is his passive. Here's Venomage. And I've also got Dark Kale. Dark Kale's in there solely for his poisons and his debuff extend. I'm going to show you how this works now. I'm going to take this off auto. So here goes the shields. I'm going to open up the Contra's A2. Just go ahead and get some poisons out with Kale. I'm going to throw out some fears with Harvest Jack. Now here's Venomage. Here's her A3. Look at all the debuffs that's up on the enemy already. Let's get those poisons up. Now here's Contra's turn. See, we got two provokes this time. Keep in mind, she only has that 75% chance of placing a provoke, but I do have one that's still feared. Now I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on to auto. That way you're going to be able to see what's going to happen. What you're going to notice, in addition to my poisons being the only real method of damage that I have on this team, because of Contra's passive, they are going to give me the ability to control the enemy team. That way my squishier champions are being protected. And in addition to Blind Seer's shields that she's given me, I'm taking very, very little damage because of Contra's passive with that damage reduction. Then the extra 15% damage mitigation from enemies that are under a block heal reduction debuff, which is currently everybody. So you can see, I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time. It is not a speed run by any stretch of the imagination, but you're getting the idea here. If you don't have a seer, if you don't have a way of just really hard countering these teams, and there's a floor just before this, for example, with a bunch of Krisks. Everyone knows how much of a menace Krisk is. This team counters it. The thing is, though, is that you got to have a block debuffs up before Krisk goes, or get provoked and you just get eaten. And I may show you all that run too. I just don't want this video to be too long. There we go. Here goes the first wave. It's almost down. Now, one of the things I like to do personally on Doom Tower hard, just because these mobs are just so annoying, is I like to manual, so that way, one of the things I like to try to do is manual in case Blind Seer decides she wants to use her block debuff skill at the wrong possible time. But Harvest Jack there, I have some redundancy. I've got fears in addition to the provokes. So we've got all kinds of control. Now, as you can see, almost every enemy champion is provoked. Now, keep in mind, you don't need Dark Kale to make this work. You don't need Harvest Jack to make this work. You just need someone just to help give you some kind of turn meter or just some kind of a buffer just in case something goes wrong, because the enemy does still have a 25% chance of not getting provoked. So you see the poisons are just going off. So if you don't have a Blind Seer, which is completely understandable, I mean, she's a Void Legendary after all. If you're in Doom Tower hard, feel free to, or really anywhere, feel free to use Skyle the Drake. She's got a stun. This created monster actually does really well with his Ally Protect. Because whenever he uses Ally Protect, if someone in the team gets hit, which is going to be Contra because we're provoked, it places a fear on the attacker. That's another debuff that Contra is able to use. Thylicia works really, really well with her debuff extend and her defense down. Granted, defense down isn't going to do very much here because all our damage is coming off of the poisons, but we still have options, which is exactly what it is that we're looking for. Here could be kind of interesting. Let's see if Blind Seer, there we go. She comes in, we got the shield, we got the block debuffs, and now it's just going to be easy mode. Here in just a little bit, whenever you have a team that scales off of debuffs, which is exactly how Contra works, you have all the advantage in the world. Now here's another reason I love having Harvest Jack. Here goes Lord of Terror. The next move that he does is, y'all can see these continuous heal buffs that the enemy have. He's going to turn those into poisons. That's going to give us extra damage. Plus, it's going to give us more debuffs to work with. There you go. I mean, it's just so good. Just having a team like this that just scales off of... that just works with the debuffs. You don't need a high-end nuker to be able to go in and clear this content. The poisons are doing all the work, and in addition to the poisons doing the damage, the poisons are allowing Contra's passive to control the wave, so everyone's perfectly safe. The run is not in any jeopardy at all. And I'm going to go ahead and let this finish off, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to jump over into Ice Golem 25, which is notoriously difficult. Let's go here to Ice Golem 25. Here's the team. Very similar to one y'all just saw me use in Doom Tower. We've got Contra in the lead. Again, she's the one that makes this all work. That passive is what's allowing her to control the enemy. We've got Venomage again, because she's placing poisons, and that passive is also reducing the amount of damage that we take. We've got Blind Seer. I'm actually going to take Blind Seer out. Let's just try and do this a little bit more free to play. Let's go with Skyle of the Drakes. Where are you? There. There she is. And let's go ahead and take out Dark Kale because he's just busted. I will be doing a full guide on him later on. I just need to finish getting his masteries. I just built him out for clan versus clan. So let's see here. Who else? We'll just use Stylicia. We'll use Stylicia. She's going to give us the defense down. She also has a debuff extend, which is what Dark Kale is going to bring it. This is what Dark Kale brings us. She also has a debuff spread. And I've got Pavement here because of her A1, which is an attack down. And so with this run, as you can see, we don't have any way of cleansing a debuff. We don't have any shields. This whole thing is going to depend on Contra and her ability to control the waves. Let's just see how it works. Now we'll be quiet. Enjoy the run. And there we go. And right there you see just how strong Venomage with Contra is. 3 of the party members went down, but because of the damage reduction that Contra's passive gives her, coupled with the damage reduction that Venomage gives, we were still able to come through. We were still able to do the win. If you have some kind of an Ally Protect champion or something like that, that's definitely something you're able to do. But as y'all can see, Venomage and Contra are such a strong combo. Even when things look bad, it honestly didn't matter because Contra was healing every time a debuff expired. Contra was also taking less damage based on the number of debuffs that's on the enemy. And I have Venomage. Actually, I forgot to show you how I got my Venomage set up here. Let me show you real quick. And this is something, if you are running a Venomage, I do strongly recommend. Have her in a Immortal and then a Regen set. Just that way you get some extra healing. My Venomage is a bit slow. I'd like to get her speed up to at least another 15 speed. I'd get her to be close to 220. But she does good as what y'all just saw. And I will go ahead and show y'all one more run here. As y'all can see, the waves were no problem. The boss with those retribution hits definitely does hurt whenever the minions are up, because then the boss just ignores your defense. And without that mitigation, we would have had a problem. But with it, we're able to sustain just fine. And now what we will do is we will jump into Dragon 25. That'll be the last run that I show y'all. And the whole purpose of this is I want to show you just how you can use Contra with poison-based champions. And it doesn't matter if it's Taurus, doesn't matter if it's Aothar. They work really good. But one champion though that you definitely do want to have that's going to help immensely is Venomage. Do you need Venomage? No. But as you saw with the Ice Golem run, if you have Contra and you have Venomage, run them together. It is busted good. Go into Dragon 25. I'll put the team together. In Dragon 25, and I will show you all the team I've got put together. Got Contra in the lead. I got that Acrosura. I have got Geomancer. He is there for the hit point burns. He also has some damage reduction, which is always nice, this kind of a comp. I've got Blind Seer in here for the shields and the res, just in case something happens. I would run another champion, but she's the only one that I've got geared right now that could honestly handle this particular dungeon. I've got Aothar in here for poisons, and I've got Venomage. Now, Venomage is weak affinity. She will be getting weak hits, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running Geomancer with Aothar. Without further ado, let's get in and let's see how Contra is able to control the waves with this debuff-based team. there we have it. As you can see, that run was never in any jeopardy at all. Again, not lightning fast, just 5 minutes. Just going to take a look at this. No, thank you. But as you can see, we're doing this without any real defense down at all. We're not using any nukers, and the waves are under complete control because of Contra's passive and the way that she works. If you have her, and if you're struggling clearing content, and if you don't have a seer, if you don't have a way of just erasing waves, use Contra and then build a team around her with her passive. Because that passive does not have a cooldown, it does not matter if she's frozen, it does not matter if she's feared, it does not matter what her situation is. So long as she's not dead, that passive is going to work. Even if she has CC'd herself, when her turn comes, if there's 5 or more debuffs out there on the enemy team, you're getting those provokes. I mean, y'all can see it for yourself. The proof is right there in the pudding. Y'all saw for yourself with the Ice Golem on 25, and the rest of the team went down. Combined with Venomage's passive and Contra's passive, they work so well together when it comes to damage mitigation. If you have people that do an AoE poison like that, and again, Taurus works incredibly well. I've got one, I'm actually working on building one out. I will be running Taurus on teams of Contra. Poisons, in addition to doing damage with Kantra the Cyclone, gives her the ability to control the waves, giving her the ability to keep your team alive. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it here, so I don't want this video to be too crazy long. But if you have Venomage and if you have Contra, congratulations. If you don't have Venomage, that's perfectly fine. Build a team around her with poisons and or hit point burns. That way, in addition to getting the damage, you're also getting control because of this amazing passive from this fantastic legendary champion who unfortunately is so overlooked by the Raid Shadow Legends community. With that, I'm going to head out. This is PutinBot. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all later.